Okay, so when they implemented these new servers, the ALC setting screen got changed, the dead zones on them did, and it has affected how most likely everybody's settings feel. Because if you are not using zero dead zone, the positions that your ALC setting is creating is not the same sensation it once was. I'm currently at the second lowest 6, which is 2 above the dead zone I was once at, which was the highest 5. I'm at this position to create the exact same physical sensation on my controller that I was once using before the servers got changed. If your setting feels weird, it is because you need to increase your dead zone by 0.2 or 2 positions in order to get the same physical sensation you had before. And by that I mean you need to click to the right of the orange bar, like extremely close, like this, to increase it by a single value. I am now at the third lowest 6, and if I do it again, I will be at the fourth lowest 6. If your setting feels wrong after the update, or after the server change, this should make it feel the way it once did. Do I want to explain the ALC right now? I'm not done. I'm fucking around with shit. Trying to like find an alternative to a configuration that I don't really want to use. I'm I, yeah, I can try and explain it, I guess. I don't really want to. It's really fucking confusing. The shit I'm talking about is like hyper specific. Alright, so lowest 6, and then second lowest 6. Alright, so I'm at 3.7 response curve. I'm at this position because I think the interior of the parentheses at 3.7 pair well with the hitbox of fine aim. When I talked about 3.7 in the past, I thought it was like a gigantic, like fluffy parenthetical shape. The reason I thought it was a gigantic, fluffy parenthetical shape is because 3 curve struggles to interact with the slow zones being created by the default settings, and the slow zone of 3 ADS is a circle. There's 2 ways I can play at 3.7. Alright, there's one way for sure that I can play at 3.7. I'm trying to find another way to play at 3.7. One way that I can definitely play at 3.7 is by playing at 0 dead zone, 0 outer, and increasing the speeds of my yaw and pitch until I'm able to move through this at the rate that I need to be able to move through it, and then rely on the metal rod of my right stick to hit the plastic tube that the metal rod is inside of to create input mapping reductions as I'm interacting with this sensation to recreate the solidity of this shape so that I have aim assist as I'm free aiming inside of the slow zone. It, what I just described is playable. I just don't want to do it because I know people I'm fighting against on console aren't free aiming in any way. People on classic are just pushing to a dot. They don't have the ability to aim at anything. All they do is just push to a dot. And people on linear at higher FOVs are just shooting at this portion of my body or anybody's body because they don't have the ability to aim up here. Whatever. They're not free aiming, and I shouldn't be free aiming either. So in order for me to not free aim, I need to create consistent solidity of this shape, which is too much information. It's just too much info. I'm at high 3.3 on my ALC optics to ensure that I'm not creating a slow zone that might naturally be here at this response curve. I don't know what speeds I would need to be at if I was down at like default values, and I don't know if there's a slow zone being created at this position without like at default values or whatever the fuck I'm trying to say. I ain't trying to explain all this. I ain't trying to do so at this configuration with like my dead zone being set to this sensation and this response curve. When I'm at 6 curve, the solidity of this is there, and it's sort of like somewhat disruptive. When I go to 7 curve, the solidity of this is like not disruptive. It's basically not there, but it provides me the ability to like interact with the sensation that's being created by the location that's being created by it in the same way. I'm trying to create 222 patterns, and so I can consistently I ain't trying to explain all this, man. I'm not done. That's the thing. I'm not done. What I'm trying to do is create 222 patterns so that I can consistently interact with the solidity of this. Because if I don't have a 2 in the front, I will struggle to interact with this until I hit a 2 in the input mapping. That is the acceleration pattern that's being created in the input mapping. Whatever, dead zones were changed. If your setting feels fucked up and you use ALC settings, even if you use default settings, because the ALC settings affect the default settings. If you have a dead zone set on the ALC screen and your setting does not feel the way it once did, you can make it feel the way it once did by increasing the dead zone by 2 positions. I don't know how long this is going to be that way because it was changed in the past. This is what the dead zones used to be set to before Horizon's Heirloom was released. When Horizon's Heirloom was released, I had to go down to highest 5 because they added additional digits to 0 or something. After the servers changed, I had to increase my dead zone to the second lowest 6 to get the same physical sensation that I was using before Horizon's Heirloom was released. Like it's the exact same position physically. It's just the UI for the screen is like has been affected by the server change. The shit's complicated. I fucking hate the developers of this game for multiple reasons.